Thank you. Well, there's been a lot of things happening in the world in the last week with especially because of the students
Yeah,
focusing on all
right.
I think that's going to spread around the world. And in essence, I think that enhances the opportunity for now for a worldwide peace movement. And with women leading the way, of course, and inviting the men to join them. And so I'm hoping that we hear from Lema Gaboui, but I'm preparing in case we don't. And so there's where my efforts I know are headed in that way. But there was an article yesterday about the students and about the way the media is covering them. And the way that they cover them is they highlight all the antagonistic remarks that come out of some of the protesters. And the majority of the people, they don't want to be threatening the Jews or threatening the Arabs, or they want peace. They want to solve it. And
Yeah,
so I wrote to the author of that article. He's the president of the American Arab Institute. I've
yeah,
communicated with him in the past, and I stated that uh, the the whole idea of a global peace movement is to get attention so that the main message is out there from in the press, not these bad things that are happening. They get
mm.
the press because it's excitement.
Oh, the press always likes that sort of thing. But I know that there are groups of agitators, not necessarily the students, but people who come in and who foment trouble and, cause trouble, and
Yes,
who are obviously programmed to do that by the Islamic elements in America. I
exactly.
didn't realize they were so strong, but they seem to be very strong, which is unfortunate for the Jews, really.
Yes. But there's something fundamentally wrong with the way that the country is operating and oppressing the people. And so there's anger and the emotions are involved.
Yeah.
So the people's hearts are hardened. I've used that phrase often. And we have to soften the hearts so we can have a ceasefire. So really what this is all about is what comes after the ceasefire. And that's the movement of nonviolence. That's the perfect time now for women to rise up if ever there was one. So
Well,
I think
it
that
may be, but I don't see much signs of it actually coming together. I
and that's
Without a leader. I mean, you need a leader like Marianne Williamson, who is unbelievably wonderful, I think.
yes,
Fantastic. But she's busy, so I can't think of anybody else except the woman that you've recommended.
right.
And so
Beatrice
we
Finn.
just have to see what happens. I'm very tired at the moment. I haven't got the energy to start anything or do anything much myself. I'm trying to finish this book
Yes.
and on the Holy Spirit and feminine aspect of God, which has been forgotten.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping that could be a book that would go with such a movement.
Yes, absolutely.
But
Well, I was thinking of that if the message is concise, that this is a movement to unite the people, a people movement, and harness the power of women and nonviolence. That's the simplicity of it. Those words right there. If you would, because you had mentioned right in the beginning, Skilla Elworthy.
Ursula Elworthy, no, she won't come in until the thing is really going.
Oh, okay.
So she's 85 or something now, and she hasn't got the energy to start anything.
Well, not necessarily what she started, but she could help to enlist or join me to contact the Secretary General. That's my main. So yes, you don't see any signs of anything happening, but that's where my strategy to meet with the Secretary General is focused all in on one main purpose, to bring all the elements together in one action.
Have you no other ways of, can you not contact him directly yourself, or do you have to go through an
Well, I
interview?
have his email address, but I think it would, and I, as a last resort, me writing him, perhaps, because when Federico Mayor contacted him originally, he CC'd me. So I have this, I don't want to abuse the privilege. That was, I think, of until it's an absolute emergency and there's no other way. I'd rather, my strategy is to get one or two of those main women that I mentioned, and then say, or just one, or even if Lema Bowie, and then call Federico and say, yes, one of these women is joining me to go to to join and meet with the Secretary General. That's the strength that I need, is one woman right now, or two. I'd rather have two, but if it's only one, and at least all this that has happened in the past with Federico connecting with Guterres, that now if I approach him now and say, this is the moment to meet with me, but not just me saying it, needs one powerful woman to sit with me. That's the simplicity of it. That's my job, is to simplify it.
Have you heard of a woman called Jyoti, Jyoti?
Oh yeah,
She's a-
Jyoti Ma.
Yes, have you
Yes,
heard of her?
I've communicated with her. I was on the webinar the other night with Liz, and Jyoti spoke. She was the first speaker.
Yeah,
And
I've heard that. Liz sent it to me, the recording, so I've heard her, and I've just contacted her because I sent her something to do with a talk in Geneva given by a man who knows the Kogi Indians and whose life was saved by the Kogi Indians when he was 25. So I sent her that meeting in Geneva,
oh,
and she wrote back to me today to thank me for sending her that.
oh,
So I have a connection to Jyoti, but I don't know whether Jyoti has any connection to the Secretary General.
yeah. Well, that's just it. They don't need that, because I would ask them to write a letter in behalf of supporting that Guterres meet with me and grant me an audience right now. And then it goes through Federico. I send any letter, so they don't need the contact. They just support it. So I need endorsement letters, but much more than that, it would be having one of the main women. That's why my plan was to ask Mimi Kennedy, the TV celebrity, which I'll explain that, and I have the letter ready to send you to explain what my strategy was, but to have her and some celebrities and Beatrice Finn, all four of those entities, contact Federico and say, Federico, we're with Andre, set up the meeting. That's what I prefer, to have that strength. But the actual meeting with Guterres is designed if I don't have any of those, but it's not as powerful.
Right.
So
Well,
that's the question is, what, all I need is one, and I can see. So just for example, this morning, it's funny how things work. There's a woman who's been running for president of the United States from the Green Party. Her name is Jill Stein. And she didn't get very far because the two-party system obviously dominates. And so she talked about the hindering of democracy that's happening right now because the students aren't getting the proper ability to voice their opinions, and they're being technically suppressed. And so she spoke beautifully. It's one of the best speeches that I've heard from her. And this was just yesterday, and that it was recorded, and they sent it out this morning. And so I see her, if she got together with Marianne Williamson, but I don't really have much pull with Jill Stein. I've sent emails to her, and I met her once, but it's all about that one. If one woman leader joins me, and then I call Jill Stein and say, "Oh, Lema Bowie is joining me," then it starts to.
why don't you write to all the women that you mentioned and just say, are you willing to join me at this moment of supreme opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
why not write to all of them? And then if you're willing to support me, then I can set up a meeting with Guterres or something like that.
Yes, that's good thought.
You might as well try them all and see if any of them respond. You can't lose anything.
I can't lose
Just-
anything at this point, and it's an emergency. because in my view, more violence is coming, unfortunately.
Well, I tell you what, I must send you the message from the mother. Have I spoken to you about the message from the mother?
From the Kogi Indians?
Yes.
No, please send me that. Yes.
I'll send you that because it's very powerful. And I don't know whether Jyoti mentioned it, but she did in the talk before back in December when we were all speaking again together. And I was one of the speakers then from the speech that I gave you. But it could be that something like that might be the kind of introduction you could give to all these different women. Because the mother is calling now, the mother speaking with the voice of the earth. She says, if you don't change, I'm going to have to take action.
Yes, I saw the video. Yes.
You saw the video?
Yes.
Okay, well, all you have to do to see it is put in Google, just put in the message from the mother, Kogi Indians or something like that, and it'll come up.
Okay.
Message from the mother, Kogi Indians.
Okay.
And it goes on for about 5 minutes. It's very clear. It says that if the princes and the powers of the world don't come together to change their course of action, then I will have to take action because I can't bear the pressure or the suffering that my body is going through as the earth with all the things that are being done. And this man in Geneva, one of them was called Nassim Haramein, who is a scientist and a physicist, and who is working on the method of trying to access the energy in the vacuum, which is called the 0-point field. If we can do that, we would have unlimited energy forever. But nobody yet knows. He's working on it very hard, but the way of accessing it is very, very difficult, scientifically speaking, but it can be done, he thinks. So, he's working on that. If that happens, we don't need oil or electricity or anything anymore. We'll have instantaneous energy from the vacuum for every home in the world.
Yes.
And we wouldn't be dependent on these huge companies who make huge profits out of us and all that sort of thing. So it would be a fantastic step forward. And he spoke before the man mentioned the Kogis, the one I sent to Jyoti. I sent her both talks. So she will have had those talks by now. But, things are trying to move. It's just we're up against a wall, both with energy and with war and violence, like you say. And I see more violence because until the Hamas, who has probably killed all the hostages, until they give them back, are dead or alive, we can't have a ceasefire because Hamas will never agree to it. And Israel will never agree to it unless Hamas agrees to releasing the hostages. So there's a complete deadlock there. You can't budget one way or the other. Meanwhile, thousands of people are dying in Gaza in the most horrible conditions. I mean, it's like a medieval siege where people just haven't got enough food or anything at all. Yes. So it's a dreadful picture of our humanity or our inhumanity. And where we've got to after 200,000 years is absolutely nowhere.
But we have to have hope and faith. And my point of view is that women can do it. And that,
okay, well, hold on to that phrase. Women can do it. Write to all these women saying women can do it. Women need to do it. Please, will you join me in starting this movement? Something like that. Not very long, just a short paragraph.
Yeah, they all know me. That's what I say to them whenever I write to them. And unfortunately, I don't have any clout with them technically. I've come a long way. I've got a lot of your comments, how you liked it, and then Ela Gandhi, the granddaughter of Mahatma Gandhi, wrote me, I fully support your initiative, but no one works with me because everyone's busy. So, and I even say, I just have one request, so it expedites your time. And, cause I've learned that they all say, oh, I'm too busy, I can't devote my efforts to this project. And I'm not asking them to stop what they're doing. I'm asking them to just help me with one item, each one of them, even the Secretary General. I'm asking him to do one thing in the beginning, cause it's, everyone's too busy. So, and that's what I'm bringing to the table. So I wanted to ask about, cause I know I said it'd be a short meeting today, cause you granted me this time. You had written to, her name is Kuba, one second, I'll mention it here again. I wrote it down because I can't remember how to pronounce it, from Chile. And if you
Oh
hear,
yes, I haven't heard a thing. She may be dead. You know, it's about 4 or 5 years ago.
oh, I see, okay.
So
But if you hear from her, obviously, ask her to contact me. The other one that we had asked Jim Garrison to help with was E. Vensler. If I
Yeah.
if I
And he
drafted a
didn't
letter,
reply.
if I drafted a letter, would you send a letter to E. Vensler? The same
Have you
same type of letter that you did for Lema Bowie.
Have you got Eva? Have you got her email?
Yes.
Because I can't bother.
Well, no,
Steve,
I have her email. I have her email.
you have, okay.
Yeah. And then I want to explain what happened with Mimi Kennedy, because your letter to me, I was sorry that I didn't quite communicate properly. In our first meeting, I had said I wanted to ask you to join me in a Zoom meeting with Mimi Kennedy. So it wasn't just you going to be meeting
No.
with her. It was me and the others that I'm trying to get into that. And the reason why that happened, because I met Mimi Kennedy. She wrote to me, oh, I love your idea. And yes, this is what my goals are too. And so I said, okay, let's Zoom. And she wrote back and she wrote then that she doesn't want to raise funds. She doesn't want it because she did that in the younger years. And she just wants something to really with networking, because that's what she's connected to, all the celebrities. So I wrote to her a nice short 3-paragraph letter explaining what I was doing. I don't think she saw it because and then I was waiting for her to contact me again based on that letter, and I didn't want to rush her. So I waited about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks before I wrote again. And I wrote, oh, can we Zoom? And she goes, she wrote me the same letter, really a little bit different. She didn't realize the same thing she had written to me before about she doesn't want to do the fundraising.
Oh.
So she obviously didn't see my letter because I addressed that's not what I was asking.
Yeah.
So that sort of disrupted my flow with her because I was waiting and waiting and she must not have seen it. So then when I wrote to her, I said, oh, please Zoom with me and so I can, just like I did with you, show you who I am. That's what I was going to do. And she wrote back, okay, yes, that's a good idea. And then the next day she wrote to me and said, it'd be much better if must be other people that you're enlisting. Let's have a group meeting of 3, 4, 5 people. That's what stimulated how that happened with you to say, oh, let's get Lema and you and Beatrice Finn or whoever to now have a Zoom meeting so we can all introduce ourselves and I can explain the strategy, how it's expedited. And because I was going to ask Mimi Kennedy to contact 3 celebrities. I know who the ones that I wanted for particular reasons. And it was that simple, that Zoom meeting with her, but I never got it. So I wanted to write her back with strength to show, oh, well, Lema Bowie's going to be on this with some women that I've communicated with that will support me, but here's some that are on with for the first time, just like you. That's what she asked for. And so obviously Lema Bowie hasn't responded. So you know, these women are busy and I can't expect, but let me think about your suggestion. But I hope you understand, that's how that worked. I wasn't asking you to just take the ball and have to,
No, I understand. It's okay. I understand that.
thank you.
But I just think you're stuck in a difficult place because you're a man and
I
not a
know.
woman.
What if I would have been a woman doing this? It would have been already.
Yeah, it would have been fantastic. No problem. But I think that because everything is so awful, because so many people are suffering, you could say that something must be done.
Yeah,
And do
thank you.
you
I'm
know, if
gonna
we could have
consider that.
if we could just have one meeting, then I could take that confirmation to Guterres through a contact that I have, but I can't go to him by myself because he just won't pay any attention.
Yes, thank you. All right, well, I can't thank you enough for your time. I know that I have the simple plan that can start it up and sustain it. And that's what all my research said, that all these movements come and go. But I've designed all the elements in there to make it last for a long time.
That sounds good. Now, what you must do is just sit in sort of very quiet, not exactly meditation, but just kind of imagine that you're opening up to the other dimension of all the people who've worked for the world before, and just ask them for their help. Say, I need some extraterrestrial help with this because I'm stuck in a place which I can't move out of, and see what ideas come in and or what events happen, because there can be synchronicities in which somebody contacts you that you hadn't thought, or that woman who hasn't answered will answer or something. Just sit very quietly, open your mind to the whole other dimension as if they were full of people who've been there for thousands of years trying to help the earth. And now is the time to ask for their help because you can't do it on your own.
Very good.
Okay?
Yes. Peace and love. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Andre, and let's hope something happens.
All right. So I'll be in touch with you. I'll keep you informed. And if some ideas come to you, please let me know.
I will. I will. Okay, I'll say goodbye now and thank you.
Thank
Nice to see
you.
you again.
Bye-bye.